Come on, come on.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
It's only the first time. Second time.
Yes.
All right.
Look at this.
Dab it up real quick. Oh, I got clap, right?
Yep.
Okay, so do I got to clap separately or? Okay.
No, I think that's got it.
Okay. All right.
Look at it.
Well, this is take 2, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we have also come up with the name of what we're gonna call this. Would you like to say it, or you want me to?
Cornbread Confessions.
Cornbread Confessions.
Cornbread Confessions it is.
Mm-hmm. Cornbread Confessions. I feel like that speaks a lot in 2 words.
It's to our heritage.
I don't really remember eating too much cornbread when I was a kid.
I'm being honest with you. I just remember my mom's cornbread. And
My mom did have some bomb cornbread.
That's kind of what,
Yeah.
I think spurred the idea of it.
But, I mean, I still think Top of the River has the best cornbread.
My mom's going to be watching this.
Yeah, I know. I can't
Holy moly.
Yeah,
that was
kind of low. Sorry, my mom.
That's a southern sin to
Yeah,
start off with right there.
That was a low ball right to start
Holy
out.
moly.
My bad, Mama.
But you ain't beat my mom's sweet tea.
No,
And
no,
see.
especially the red lid. Yeah, because she had them labeled differently.
She had them labeled. You had sweet
You had
and
sweet.
you had sweet.
And then you had really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this is Cornbread Confessions with Logan Turner,
And this is Owen Cornelius.
and this is Cornbread Confessions, and I guess we'll start it out with our sponsor. So
Sponsors Red Bull, right?
yeah,
Is that
our
is that
first
what
sponsor of this
We've already
podcast is
landed the
Red
big
Bull.
guys.
Is Red
this
Bull,
fast.
yeah.
So,
Red Bull. It gives you wings.
so enough said.
Couldn't do the podcast without it, I guess. You know.
There you go.
Fair enough.
Red Bull, we need new mics, and we're gonna need nicer camera setup.
Yeah, please do.
Anyways, yeah. And send us a tech to run it all.
Yeah,
Then
you know,
we'll be-
and
we'll be set.
maybe a dirt bike too. But
Well, yeah. We'll send you the list.
yeah.
So,
Speaking of lists, do we need to have it on, or do you remember it?
shoot, I could put us a list on, but I pretty well got it.
Okay,
Like,
all right, heck yeah. So what are we gonna cover on this podcast?
so we're gonna start out with just our background, some of the context behind who we are, where we come from.
Yeah.
So I think one thing we need to start out by saying is that we're first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in Blount County, Alabama. Probably 10 miles from each other. Sometimes probably more like 2 miles from each other.
Yeah.
2 or 3 miles.
From times, yeah.
So just depending on how life went and where parents moved and stuff. But yeah, no. From ages 0 to 5, we were going to the same campgrounds as a family and stuff, and went to the same Christmases. Had a lot of shared experiences there. And then kind of moving in from that era, we were still camping and stuff, but we used to go to each other's houses all the time and stuff, kind of growing up. I remember going and watching Owen play games all the time. I was never the gamer of the family, but Owen freaking killed it. So he got to the good stuff before I even knew it was up. And then from there, we had the cabin days where we're, a lot of days going to your dad's house, fishing in the pond, playing in the woods, whatnot. And up from there, in our teenage years, we just kind of started going more and more our separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it started getting to where, I went to another school, you went to our home school of Susan Moore.
Right.
And so there was a lot of changes that went on there, and then I ended up, going into college, and you going more into the career field of things. So, it's a very different take from the same roots, if you know what I mean. Same tree, but different branches. So.
Well said. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna cover, what we do now, and I guess how old we are, because just assuming this is people that are going to be listening to this that have no idea about us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm Owen Cornelius, and I am currently 23 years old, and I work for Dixie Trucking Company, and as a truck driver, I drive a flatbed, so haul flatbed around. So that's always fun, everywhere, and I've pretty well covered the whole United States twice already at 23 years old, and I think that's kind of a cool thing. Really. A lot of people have never actually been out of the state.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I've met people like that. Yeah, that's a common deal.
It is.
But as we said, I'm Logan Turner. If you noticed, Turner Cornelius, we're related through the mother's side.
Yes.
So
yeah.
my mom, his dad, brother and sister. So we're related through that way, and I currently actually work at Turner Construction. I'm 24. Been there about 2 years, and I've been enjoying it. I've actually worked for a fab shop, and I'm an estimator for our fab shop. So. It sounds boring, but I actually it's pretty interesting, and but yeah, that's where life's at now.
Yeah. Well, I would ask, I would get into the topic of what is maybe some things that you've learned or would like to share, but I think we need to come back to that. I think we need because that opens up a can of worms.
It does. When we start talking work stuff,
we can go on and on about this kind of stuff.
We've got a history here with the word. Work history will definitely have to be an episode in and of its own.
It really will.
That is
maybe we can cover that on this episode.
We can,
maybe later. But we need to stay on topic of growing up, just how it was, and like he said, we grew up sometimes, depending on where my dad was living at the time, 2 miles to 5 miles to 10 miles maybe, It was always within walking distance or whatever we had to ride, whether it was four-wheelers or dirt bikes. I don't know. I mean, shoot, sometimes I just get in a car and drive over there to your house at 10 years old. No business at all. But when you live on a back road, anything's possible.
Dude, I'll be honest, that probably is some of our earliest memories is riding four-wheelers. I mean, to put it in perspective, we were riding four-wheelers at like 3 and 4.
Yes.
I mean, so like us, going out behind some of the cornfields and stuff in behind our house and, running out to the cabin and stuff like that, even before your dad owned the place, running out that way and stuff, running out underneath the creek and everything. We had a lot of memories just riding,
Yeah.
And but Owen had a tendency of breaking his arm for some reason.
Since you had to go there, I guess. Yeah, I was always I guess I could say comfortably I'd be the one that was more adventurous.
He was the wild one.
I was the wild one.
Owen was the wild one.
I was the wild one, and I would definitely test my limits on whatever I was on, whether it be a horse or even to this day. I am driving a semi-truck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we talked about it today. Even there's some situations I'm like, I would not want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
Driving a truck.
Yeah.
Trying to make this turn. That's just.
Yeah, and you will get in a bind.
Yeah.
Will get in a bind. And
it sucks. There's just no way.
But that's fine because I could not do your job, and you couldn't do mine.
Still estimating.
Yeah.
Not everybody's cup of tea.
It's just not just in the skill level of it.
Yeah. Being able to handle all the numbers and everything to do with steel in general, knowing that kind of side of the world. But
that don't make us better or worse for whatever reason. It's nothing like that. Like we know where we stand with each other, and that's just how it is. I mean, you just sometimes got to accept that not everything is meant for you, and I guess the earlier you can understand that, I guess the better off you'd be, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I will say this. Now we're going to be podcast millionaires
Yeah.
after that. So,
Yeah. I mean, this is very new for
this
me.
is a huge career jump
Yeah,
for us.
I've always wanted to start a podcast, man.
Yeah.
I've talked to people about it, finally, and like Logan was talking about, we was together a lot at a young age, and toward our teen years, we veered off, and like he said, he went to a different, he was at Susan Moore, I'm repping it right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we went to school to Susan Moore together, and I guess it was about 8th grade you moved.
Yeah. Basically, not through 12th. I was at Aniana.
Not through 12th. He moved to Aniana and left me at Susan Moore, but that's fine though. And,
Yeah, that's fine.
And I don't think I could have fit in at Aniana. So
I basically didn't either.
Oh well.
So that kind of worked out anyway.
Yeah.
So, but Aniana was, I'll be honest, like at first, a huge switch in my life that I did not want to see coming at all.
And this is the county school versus city school.
The city school.
Yes.
Now here's the context behind that. Keep in mind, this is a city school that had deer running beside it, because this was like right next to one of the biggest hunting camps. So it's like in a town of 6,000 people.
Right.
So
which is big for where we grew up.
Us. That was our biggest town in our county.
Yeah.
That was where the Walmart was.
Yeah, that was where
that
the
was
Walmart
our mall
in Blount County. Aniana was the, and
Yeah.
still is, the town.
It's where you
of Blount County, I guess. If you had to put because the town hall is, well, not town hall, but the you got to go there to get your tag. What am I trying to say?
Yeah, the courthouse.
The courthouse, yeah. The courthouse is Blount County.
Courthouse is-
Yeah, the Blount County courthouse is in Aniana, so I guess obviously that would make
It's the capital city and everything.
Yeah, it would be the capital
It's the
of Blount
booming
County.
hub of
if you want to look at it like
Blount County, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh man.
but no, so yep, I moved to the city school. I reckon Kansas City slicker. But no, I went there. Definitely didn't fit in with my boots and jeans. But you'd be surprised. There were definitely some guys there that we knew and stuff. That that it was definitely a big change to me. But now growing up, we grew up in the same school, Susan Moore, and had a lot of the same teachers and stuff growing up, and had a lot of shared experiences there. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, probably from that 0 to 5, I think our biggest memories were probably riding the 4-wheelers and me, I guess, conking Owen on the head. See, I was born 99, the end of 99. He was born 2001, and so like that first Christmas and stuff like that was. Man, I was mean when I was little. Just to be honest. Like, I think I got my wild stage. I think everybody goes through their wild stage at some point.
Yeah.
I just happened to do all of my wild stage from like 0 to 6.
That's fair. That's
You know
fair.
what I mean?
I mean,
I
it
don't
makes
know
sense too.
if you think about it.
Knowing the way you are now,
Yeah.
that really honestly
mellowed
makes
out.
sense.
Really mellowed out, like, compared to when I was 0 to, like, from age 0 to 6 and stuff. My mother can tell you, like,
Yeah.
absolute freaking menace. I was conking his head on the freaking hearth and stuff.
Right.
at
Yeah.
Christmas.
But
You know,
I mean, it's not like, I don't know if you remember that. I don't remember it. I could have been
right,
concussed
I don't
the
even
whole time.
remember it either. There's a lot of times
Yeah, it's just
been
kind of
told
stories that our grandmothers or
Yeah.
grandmother has
Yeah.
told. And we just kind of have to go with it. What else can you do? You
Yeah.
don't remember them kind of days, but
Alright.
but I guess let's get back on. So yeah, I guess 8th and 9th grade, he moved to Aniana and I was at Susan Moore, and I guess at that time was where our life kind of separated, and we went from being very close to each other, and basically growing up together as brothers, and that's where we kind of separated, and so from that point on,
that really lended itself to a lot.
it did.
The fact that we had such a close connection
Yeah.
in childhood, and then kind of went off and did our own thing in the world. It's really interesting to see how we've got a lot of stories we haven't shared. We've
Yeah.
shared ourselves, but then a lot of stories we haven't shared with each other.
Right.
And that's what we think is going to be really interesting about this podcast.
It will, because we're going to try our best to share them with each other.
Yeah.
On the podcast, because I mean it's a lot of things that he don't know about me that I've done, and a lot of things I don't know about him. So I'm sure it'll be very interesting. But yeah, let's see. Well, we went. We got separated and whatnot, and you went to Aniana, and so we went from there to. I carried on my years in Susan Moore and graduated in 2019, and you graduated in 2018, Aniana?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, we did graduate.
Yeah, can you believe it?
That's
one county
right.
we actually made it
yeah,
through.
We did graduate. Didn't drop out,
Yeah.
I'm actually the first Cornelius.
To graduate full on high school,
Yes,
right?
because see, my dad got his GED.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that is. Well, it's not like graduate.
Well, it's not like he didn't walk.
Yeah, he didn't walk.
Well,
so you showed out when you walked. When I'm here, you were like first gen, son.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I had something there. I thought I had something going, but well.
No, that means your dad just did it faster.
Yeah, basically, that's what it means.
No, like my mom, I remember she wouldn't even let me do it. She wouldn't even let me graduate soon for some reason. It was probably more as just she wanted me to like have the full on high school life or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's
and
fair.
It kind of makes sense because I do remember my senior year and stuff like that. And it's like a different feel. It's pretty crazy. But,
it is.
But
ain't you glad for parents and stuff?
Yeah.
Looking over us. And I think a lot
you
of
don't
people
think of that kind of stuff.
No, that's what's crazy. I don't
really nuanced stuff in life
Yes.
that you just haven't experienced yet.
Yeah,
You think you know.
Yeah, you think you know. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because there's like I know my mom, my dad,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things they would tell me, yada yada, make me do.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. I didn't want to do it. Getting older.
Mm-hmm.
I look back and I'm like, I'm glad that I had that kind of guidance, because that a lot of people, they either had it and just rebelled,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I don't want to sound
Everyone
rude,
fell
but
off the wagon.
well, yeah, I don't want to sound rude, but I mean, I'm sure everybody knows who those people are, and they can see where they're at today,
Yeah.
I'm sure looking back, there's some things you would be like, I really wish I would have listened to my parents when they told me, don't do this or don't do that. Or, vice versa, do this or do that, And I feel like when you're able to see that, in a way, it'll put you ahead in life.
Yeah.
In a way.
Because you can stack their experience on top of yours.
It will.
I think that's a real interesting thing in and of itself because it's about stacking what experience that they give you, but then
honestly, really trusting it.
Right.
And running
now,
with it.
here's the other flip side of that coin that I would say kind of impacted me personally.
Yeah.
Though, is that there is a healthy amount of rebellion and not just being disobedient to your parents. I'm not saying that, but it's more of a observing what your parents do, observing what their situation is, because this is kind of, for a broader audience here and stuff,
Yes.
it could be different situation per parents and stuff like that, that maybe some of the things that they tell you may not want to, advice and stuff like that they may give you that may not actually be right. You'll end up in the same situation they did. That may be a good thing, that may be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But being able to grow in some kind of independence healthfully, it is a balance in and of itself. I think
it is.
There's a balance of listening to your parents and always listening, taking it in, but also kind of backstopping that behind what maybe you want to do different in the world and trying to bring something different to the world that maybe your parents didn't do, but having some kind of individuality about it.
Yeah.
I think it's important because there's some things, with circumstances that you may not have wanted with your parents. That was one thing I guess never realized as you get older and stuff and you live on your own, is there's a lot of things you got used to the way your parents were doing things, and there's other people that were doing it totally different the entire time. And so you're like, wait, that was actually kind of a better way. And it's not anything like a bad thing that your parents were teaching you that doing that, but it could have been that there just was a better way.
Yeah.
And so, and you see the results of that. So I think it's about being smart and measuring the results and consequences.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Yeah. There's a lot of things. Speaking of that, this is probably going to get off topic a little bit, but I think it needs to be said. There's a lot of things that you're going to be tempted with, and there's like you said, the independence that comes from it, may sometimes be greater. Like there's a lot of things that you need to experience and have your own experience in your own way in those top fields, that they don't necessarily want you to go down that path. But, and it really might not honestly be the healthiest path for you to go down, but if you're able to come back from that, then a lot of times you're a better person because of what happens, and, you only live once. And that's just it. I mean, you only live once.
Take advantage of the breath of life.
Well, right, and you're gonna want to live a little bit. You don't want to just live a boring life your whole life. You want to get out. You want to live a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody
maybe
does.
Something different that your parents might not have.
Yeah.
Or something that
And just like you said, you kind of went through your wild stage. I don't know if that's actually true. It sounds good. And it kind of makes sense in your case because honestly, dude, I ain't never even seen you go wild, but I mean, you're kind of like...
I think I did seriously get it out of my system at a young age, and my parents were there, so they just beat it out of me.
Right.
Well,
that's a lot of... That's, heck, dude. But...
For the record, I was not abused as a
kid.
It
wasn't abused.
Okay,
no,
so it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely needed... I know I earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
I earned it, put it that way. So,
yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, there's a lot of things, and a lot of things that you're going to want to do and experience will come from going through a wild stage. I have a bunch. I have a bunch of experiences that I have acquired going from a wild stage, and I don't necessarily regret them. I got stories I can tell, from generations. Well, a lot of things I might not need to share to my kids or anything, but I have that.
But it builds the man,
It does build the man.
It builds the man.
I 100%.
That's part of the story.
Absolutely. It's part of the story in your life. I 100% think that I'm a better man because of the stuff I have went through. So.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's your choices and what they're doing to build you. So we kind of live with the consequences of what we decide.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the path I tried to take, and one of the big things I've begun to realize later on was that, at first, taking a lot of what, your parents and what everybody in your immediate life tells you as advice, you kind of try to take that to heart and, live that out in your life because you're thinking in your mind, I'm going to build on the experience. They're saying they've lived this other life. They're like telling you, listen, don't do what I did, working blue collar, go to college kind of thing. That was kind of like the mantra and stuff in my head as a kid, Yeah. That's what you hear and stuff. But, I come out of college and stuff, and I guess one of the most eye-opening things that I learned, obviously, I'll be honest, through most of college, I realized that I didn't really need to be there. It was not one of those things where, I could have done without it, and been really just as happy, quite frankly. But I think that I don't regret it. I definitely do not regret it. It's also in a way in and of itself a unique experience. But there's a balance between building on those experiences and then building on what other people's advice they give you and stuff, but also knowing how to filter that in a way that gets you where you're going and really defining what your goals in life are, and then you figuring out the way to get there, having some kind of individual thought and intention about where you're going and stuff. And that's really all that counts. It doesn't matter if that means you're going to college, that you're not. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of the people in your life that you want to take care of and stuff? It really comes down to some simple principles when no matter what your background is and what you go through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and like he said, he went to college. Well, me, I graduated school, and I'm sure a lot of y'all will be able to relate to this. I graduated school, didn't know what I wanted to do in my life.
I feel like that's a lot of people at 18, man.
Yeah.
You don't
have no idea. Did you know?
You just gotta jump in there.
Did you know that you wanted to be an engineer at 18? Is that kind of something that you knew you wanted to do?
I did, but the deal is, it's like engineers real broad. I would have not guessed I would be working in construction as an engineer at 18.
Yeah, because there is. Yeah, you can go anywhere from building missiles as an engineer to doing what you're doing, pouring concrete.
Yeah, I could have been making anything from prosthetics to working on freaking just anything, or it could have been showbiz,
Yeah.
So it's like
might need to cut that out. Oh man. Oh yeah. I like what he was talking about. I went through a long time of my life. I graduated high school and not knowing what I wanted to do, and I just kind of job hopped. I really did. I did that for up until about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Just job hopped, and
and there for a little bit, you were doing your OnlyFans and selling feet pics.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
just the little things.
It paid enough for the groceries. But when it come down to like making that truck payment, if I had an extra toe, dude, I swear.
That's what would have done it.
I swear my truck wouldn't have got repoed if I had an extra toe, man. It still kills me, dude. I regret that, man.
If only.
No. Or if I would have even just clipped my toenails, man. I mean, it could have just been that.
It's the simple stuff.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, it's just growing up just like that, Just clip your toenails every once in a while, It's a little hygiene ain't never hurt
nothing
nobody.
wrong with a little job hopping there.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with a job hopping. I'm straight out of high school. I was working at a car wash in high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was working at a car wash in high school, and we're getting off topic. This is about to lead into something else, but I feel like it's going to go. I feel like it's going to go somewhere nice at the end. So I think we're just going to go ahead and go with it. So I was working at a car wash whenever I was in school. And I enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. That was a fun job. It was a flexible schedule job. Didn't make a whole lot, but it was a fun job, You remember when Zippy's in Aniana?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back when that was a Zippy's, I worked there, and then I was there when it transitioned from a Zippy's to a
American
Car Wash USA.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a 5. Not 5
and that's
below.
a Take 5 now.
Take 5. That's what I always said 5 below. No.
It's the same car wash at 3 different names.
Same car wash we keep on buying, yada. But that was a fun job. I really liked that job. But I just at that age I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so instead of sitting back and punting or something, that might not even be the right thing to do, sitting back and punt. I didn't go that route with it, but it might have been a better option. What I did was I worked at the car wash. Here comes somebody offering me a job that paid $1 more. Mm-hmm. Me being young, I'm like, dude, I can make $13 an hour instead of $12. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Jumped on it.
And there I go. And I did that for a while until I eventually got to where I was making $1 million a year. I'm just playing. But
and so anyways, he's got a course he'd like to sell you after this.
Yeah. We're sponsored by Red Bull, by the way. But anyway, from the car wash, it's crazy. I don't even know if you know this, but so I took a field trip just to get out of class. It was strictly to get out of class. I had no intention of even going into this line of work, but they
Mhm.
had like some kind of career day,
Oh yeah.
and so they took a handful of people to the Albertville Airport
Oh shoot.
on a school bus from Susanmore, right?
Yeah.
And so I signed up for it, like I said, strictly just to get out of class. And I ended up, going. And so I go to the Albertville Airport, and, I'm just being myself. I get around there, and I accidentally come across the boss that works there, and I was just talking to him, just like he's a normal dude. Didn't know he was the boss or anything, just talking to him like he's a normal dude. And just kind of acting like I was interested,
Mhm.
but it was really that I was so bored of our instructor that we had
Yeah.
that I was just looking somehow just to get to talking about something else. And so he was just the first guy that I really seen. So I went up to him and hit it off with him, and then after that, it just so happened that my school bus driver that I rode the school bus on before I was 16, she worked at that airport part-time. I had no idea, but see, she knew me, and the guy I was talking to, the boss over that, it was Rainair. That's the company that I was working for. He got to talking to my school bus driver,
Mhm.
Miss Belinda. Shout out to Miss Belinda.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yeah, I know him. He rode my bus or whatever. So that got back around. She come over to my house just randomly and was like, hey, this guy wants to offer you a job, being an airplane mechanic. Heck yeah. I ain't got nothing better to do. I'm working at a car wash right now. So I ended up going over there to the airport in Albertville, and I was an airplane mechanic for about a year. And I don't know, I didn't hate that job. I didn't.
Dude, that seemed like it was a cool.
It
job
was a very
to
cool
have.
job. It was a very cool job. And
I would have liked to do that.
yeah,
myself.
no, it was a very cool job. I got to learn a lot about airplanes. I don't think I'll ever get to use that knowledge.
You don't think you will again?
I mean, unless I
You're
get
not
to
gonna go into airplane mechanics again?
Well, not just that. Maybe one day I could buy an airplane and be able to work it on myself.
Dude, heck yeah.
Or
I'm
something
about
like
it.
that.
I'm about it.
Or you buy one, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah,
buy a Beechcraft or something and work on
That's
it.
the main goal.
Yeah,
That's the dream.
but yeah. So I was an airplane mechanic for about a year there, and it was just around airplanes. We'd work on them, and then we'd take it on the runway and see if what we put on there worked, and ran it a little bit. It was cool. I got to go up in the air a lot,
Mhm.
and that was a very, very cool job. And like I said, dude, I was just young, and all I knew was this place down the road was hiring $15 an hour, like a factory job. It was Hootamaki.
Hootamaki.
That's a crazy name. It's a crazy name. It really is a crazy name. Hootamaki. They make paper plates, man.
Oh.
Yeah, they make paper plates.
Okay, yeah.
You know
I
what
think
I'm
I've heard
talking
of this
about?
place now.
Oh, you have heard of it? All right.
Okay.
So yeah, Hootamaki is where I went after that. And so I was over there making paper plates for a while. Like I said, I still have no idea what I want to do in my life. I'm just kind of going with the flow and having fun and, doing my thing. And I don't really remember exactly all the places I worked after that. I mean, it kind of was a blur because I kind of really did just jump around. Did some odds and ends jobs, like I said, just making enough money to get by.
See, I think that builds up such a great experience.
Yeah.
When you've experienced a bunch of different places to work, because
Yeah.
if you contrast that with me, I've worked at a total of, I think, 4 different jobs total,
Yeah.
which is not a lot. Now, I stayed a long time in each one of them too, and some of them kind of overlapped
Yeah.
in the year as the years kind of went through with school and college change and stuff. But
Well, and what I can say is that, and this might be some advice, no matter how mad you get at your boss, whatever, you always try your best to leave that place in good.
and better than you left it, and not
Better
burn bridges.
Always, yeah, don't burn bridges. Always be able to go back to those places
Mhm.
if need be. you're like, hey, I need a job right now. I'm in a bad way. You didn't burn a bridge with them. You're able to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one thing that I can say. Like I never left anything on a bad note. But also, so I don't know. I guess a lot of people could relate to this. So the reason why I could say, definitely the reason why I jumped like I did from job to job is I would go somewhere and I would work, and I would be there for a couple months, and even though I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, I just knew that the place I was at was not where I needed to be, if that makes any sense. Like, I just knew I didn't fit in there.
You were already at another place by the time you got there, kind
Yeah.
of thing. It felt like you were not.
Yeah, like I would go there, I would work, I'd get the gist of it, and I would just be like, this just isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I, would just call in late, whatever,
Slack,
missed the
like
slack, didn't work hard there. It was just, I really just, I didn't feel like that was a place that I needed to be at,
Mm-hmm.
And
You didn't see a career.
I didn't see a career out of it,
Yeah.
And so I get, later on in life, and well, my dad owns a trucking company. We went, that's another story. We've been on trucking trips, and we kind of covered this in our first episode of a podcast.
Yeah.
Me and Logan go on trucking trips with my dad, and I always said that I was not going to be a truck driver, in a way, because it was always, I seen how much he was gone, but he kind of was like, well, why don't you give this a shot, I tried it. I mean, it kind of really got to where I kind of ran out of options, out of the places that I could go. Not necessarily like, I could have went to, whatever factory. I could start in a whole
least
new
it felt like you
town.
were running
It
out
wa-
of,
yeah, it felt like I was running out of places that I could try to fit in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
So this was the next natural step.
yeah. So I'm basically, just not really giving up, but I'm getting tired of feeling like I don't fit in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
What do you feel about now where you're at? Do you
I'll get
like
there.
which I was fixing to say?
Yeah, I'm getting there. So yeah, basically, I get around to running out of options that I feel like, and I get in with trucking. My dad talks me into it. Get on, and eventually I got into truck driving school. It was a four week program. I get in with there. I pass. I get my CDLs. I'm like, well, hey, this is cool. And I don't know. I just know this is truck driving and the line of work that comes with truck driving, whether it be dump truck, flatbed, you name it, running equipment. That's where I just kind of feel like, this is who Owen Cornelius is, in a way, And
Felt like it was in your blood.
yeah. It was like this is what I had been missing,
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point it's like, well, I found my passion finally, and then so that's kind of how I got into the line of work that I got into, with kind of summary though. I kind of tried to be quick and I skipped a bunch of places, but that's kind of how I got into the line of work that I was in, and I ain't really looked back. I mean that's kind of brief, but it was. I don't look back, man. I always had money, if nothing else.
Yeah, you had something to fall back on.
Yeah. And I enjoy it, man. It's something about just like I said. It just kind of makes you feel like this is where you belong in a way. You
Yeah.
know, this is just kind of like, you know, I go down the road and I might be having a bad day or something, and heck, I'll be in a neighborhood, I'll look over and I'll see some kids in the yard playing, and they'll see me coming by their house, and they'll just be, you know, just doing that signal. You know what it is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did it when you was a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
I did it when I was a kid. You know, you give them the old horn, and it makes you feel good, you know.
It's the little
it's kind of
things.
like, yeah, it is the little
Yeah.
things, man. But I'm veering off a lot. But if anybody can relate to that, I feel like that's something a lot of people would be able to relate to. If you haven't found your career yet, don't feel like you're stuck somewhere. I guess is what the gist of this is getting to. Don't feel like you're stuck somewhere. You know, there is, if you felt like I did, you know, there is a place out there for you, and it's just a matter of time before you find it. But you can't also mess up in life to where you're stuck at that place. I know a lot of people, whether it's messing around getting somebody pregnant.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious though.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
really.
it really is like
Yeah,
that.
like-
People mess up, get somebody pregnant. People will get a house that they can't afford, cars they can't afford, yada yada.
They get in over their head.
They get in over their head with financially anything.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you can't miss that paycheck, and you're stuck working in this factory. And next thing you know, here's 30 years of your life. You know.
Yeah. See, that's
That's
sad.
a lot of people. It is very sad. It's very sad.
That people get. Yeah. I will say that one of the mindsets I've noticed of most everybody that I've observed in my immediate life and everything, and this is not a knock on anything, and this is something I really don't know yet, but something I guess I've noticed is that we all have our imprisonment of mindset. So like we are prisoners of our own mind.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
a lot
Kevin
of
Gates
times.
said.
And yeah,
You ever heard that song?
but I mean, really, if you think about it, though, like I think that a lot of times we frame ourselves in with obviously the life choices we make and us reaping the consequences of what we sow in the world, but that a lot of times a little bit of redneck creativity can go a really, really long way. And like I've noticed in life, it's the people that have took the time to realize that, you know, the standard of living that we come to expect is really not what we need. I think as Americans, a lot of times we confuse our standard of living with our needs. And our standard of living, man, is like so freaking high. Just it's the highest that it's ever been in the world ever, if you think about it.
And social media,
200 years ago,
does not help that at all.
Oh gosh,
when you look on there and you see what
See
somebody else has,
Lambos and all this kind of stuff.
not even Lambos, man. I mean, you got. I mean, because in a sense, you know you're not going to be able to afford a Lambo. You know what I'm saying? But you know what you can afford? That Dodge truck that you've been wanting since you was 16.
Yeah, that dream truck one.
That dream truck you wanted.
I think it's different for different people too. Some people dream of Lambos, and some people just don't want that.
Well, yeah, that.
Some people think they want it, but the reality of it is, even when they get there, they find emptiness.
Right. Well, and I was just kind of saying, like you know, let's be real here. I mean, a Lambo. You know, who really can afford that kind of stuff? You know,
like actually afford it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're talking about your everyday people here.
It can be done. Yeah,
you know,
see,
that's a lot on an everyday person.
I would say, as
Not
an everyday
impossible.
person, it really takes breaking out from the mold and stuff like that, and really being able to take both risk, but both being smart about it. It's having a very, very dangerous combination.
Yeah.
Those two being. You know, not risk averse, but being, you know, being willing to take on a risk and also being smart about it, quick on your feet. There's a lot of that. That's why I think a lot of times too, even like a lot of your college age educated people and stuff like that, they don't, you know, really jump that far a lot of times in their, they don't feel like, because most of the people that do end up going to college are people that are following what their parents had told them anyway, so they're kind of in that frame of mind of doing what their parents told us.
Which isn't a bad move.
But it can be hard to kind of break that
Yeah.
and have somewhat of an entrepreneurial spirit to go out and make your own way in the world, because at the end of the day and stuff like that, nobody really cares, if you got a college degree or not, if you're not producing the results that they hire you for, or that somebody is paying you to do in the world in general. People pay for value add in their life, and so however means you need to get there, whether that is college or whether that's not college, is up to you, and it's up to your strengths and what you learn about yourself to play into and have the greatest time advantage using. So I think that's one thing a lot of people get stuck in their mindset, is they feel like they can't go anywhere because this is the only option, is to be stuck in this cycle. And a lot of it, for Americans at least, it truly is about humbling yourself and really digging in the dirt and figuring out what you actually need and what you don't.
Yeah.
And starting from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to find that you can reevaluate jobs and you're gonna have to, it's gonna suck. It's just a lot of hard work in the beginning, but you can get out of it, and there's a way. I think that's a very American spirit that is not necessarily globally recognized or always possible. So that's one thing that we have a huge advantage of in America, is being able to make that way.
Yeah, it's the American dream, in a way, I guess.
But it is. That is precisely what the standard American dream has been, able to make your own way, to jump classes.
Yeah.
It don't matter if you're starting at the bottom of the totem pole, no matter your past, being able to build on that past into greater and greater experiences in your life. And everybody tries to look at it from a financial success, but some of the happiest people in the world don't have that much money.
No.
And they have an abundant family that they're extremely proud of, and makes you feel like the richest man in the world. So there's a different way of looking at it than other than just financial wealth and stuff.
Right.
Financial wealth can be a medium of buying back time for things like family and stuff like that. So it's a very volatile, very exchangeable form of energy in the world. But I think that it's something that at the end of the day, you have to be careful what you worship in the world,
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Do you want to kind of try to get back on what we're actually supposed to be talking about on this podcast?
Yeah, we went off into the career side of things there for a bit.
Unexpected, but I don't know. Maybe somebody gets something good out of that.
I was fixing to say, it's really whatever we make it.
Yeah.
Sharing what's on the mind. What we're saying now is not stuff that that we're literally reading off the screen.
No, it's not. No.
This is
and it's not the popular opinion either.
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of people may need to hear that has never heard before. It's a lot of things. People,
you kind of wish you would have heard it when you were 18.
Yes. But see, I wouldn't have listened to it if I heard it at that age.
You don't think so?
No, I know I wouldn't have.
Really?
I know I wouldn't have.
What would you think? What would you think would have made you listen to it? What would have been something that would have woke you up at 18, 19 years old? What would have got your attention?
Probably like a serious near-death experience.
Really?
Dude, I was rebellious.
That's what it would take?
Oh, I was rebellious bad.
I mean, I could see it.
I was rebellious bad, dude.
I could see it, but that's what you think it would take.
I don't know, man.
To get you there.
Or
do you think it is a mental thing? A lot of times.
Well, I can only if you want me to be honest, it's going to take us down another rabbit hole, but I can be honest as you want me to be.
Do it, man. That's what it's for.
Well, let's see. I was doing a lot of stuff that was not okay to do. And, I reckon just coming around and coming to my senses and just kind of.
What was the tipping point? What do you think actually changed you into the mindset that you have now?
Oh, I know exactly what it was.
What was that?
I got saved.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Wow, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously.
No, it really is. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I thought I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't.
I think we all had some kind of measure of that in the South. In the
Yeah,
Bible Belt.
exactly.
It's a very, the culture here and everything.
It'll straighten you up, dude.
Yeah, it can't very well.
It'll straighten you up.
It's a very catch-22 situation because I do think that there are a lot of hypocrites and stuff like that, and that's what a lot of the outsiders looking at the Southern Belt. Bible Belt, stuff like that, look at is they say a bunch of hypocrites, and quite frankly, I think they're right. But does that discount from the actual message?
Well, I can only speak for what I went through, and like I know, I'm not obviously not going to say where I was going at the time to church and who the preacher was and all that, but it was more or less like one of my buddies that I went to church with. I thought, like I said, I was young. One of my buddies I went to church with, he was like getting like baptized the next day, and I thought that was really cool. And it might have been like an attention thing, where he was like getting a lot of attention because he was getting saved and he like got baptized and stuff. So I was just kind of like, I want to get baptized,
Yeah.
And so, but I did feel the Holy Ghost at a young age, and so like I knew I had felt him, and so that made me feel like I had gotten saved because that was the first time that I remember feeling him in that way. But in my opinion of how this works is, what are you really getting saved from if you've never done nothing to be saved? Think about that. And I'm talking about a little kid. What have you done? Stole your sister's crayon? You know what I'm saying? Like, I never actually, like, I would say, like,
You say that through living your life up to age 18, 19, even 20, a lot of times you're
21.
You're still making some major fumbles up into the latter years.
21. Yeah.
It increases as you go.
Well, I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
Like, I've got.
I mean, all have fallen short of the glory of
saved.
God. Like I'd say, I would say that as a preface here.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like getting saved from something. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Like I got saved
really
at a
felt
young
it
age.
weighing down.
Yeah, but like I never done something that, like, I don't know. Let's say you're drowning, and somebody throws a life raft out, and then you get saved from drowning. You went
from drowning in the kiddie pool to drowning in the Olympic pool.
In a way,
it felt like.
Yeah,
maybe?
I guess so. Well, no, because
even though they both are drowning, one is.
Well, we'll see. It's more or less like I'm a kid and I haven't even jumped in the pool yet, but because I don't know how to swim, I got saved from even getting close to the pool. Versus.
But now you jumped in the pool.
Versus I'm jumped in the pool. And I've been in the pool for a while.
Got sucked in by one of them rip currents.
Yeah, and then I get saved. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more you're getting saved from. You're in the action.
You realize you're still this kid that doesn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much clearer your mind will get. And from my experiences, you know, you go from thinking some really just DA thoughts to just having a clear mind. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Did you think that was what the true turning point?
Yeah, in my life, yes.
And being able to get things like career and everything start to line.
Yes,
It's amazing how that works.
I know for a fact it is.
It's amazing how that really works. Yeah, because it does bring a sense of clarity to the rest of the world that you just don't have.
I went from like basically not having anything going for me to now here I am. I'm not flexing. I'm not even gonna like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to.
Hey, if you blessed, you blessed. You know?
But there's just no way of, like, I don't like to brag on stuff I have because or even really show.
But you're grateful for what you have.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't know I have 4 cars. A lot of people barely have one.
This guy's insane.
Nobody knows that I got that 4th car for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
You're not gonna trade all those in and get you a Lambo? I mean, at least.
They ain't really worth anything.
But, is that what
they're not really worth. Well, some of them are.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you know, like some people don't have a car at all.
Yeah.
And you know, I got 4 that run and drive. You know, but
that's hillbilly rich right there.
That's hillbilly rich,
dude.
It's hillbilly rich. Yeah.
I ain't got that many.
But you could though. Don't act like you couldn't.
I could get loans and all that, but I ain't doing all that.
No, yeah.
Definitely another topic of discussion.
This is without loan.
You don't want to get us started on the finance.
No.
We got some more to.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I don't know. I mean, you can get sidetracked. You can go as far as you want to with it, but like, it's hard to.
But you got a lot of things that you're grateful for that you've got in your life that other people just don't have.
Right, and I can go on and say, but I don't really want to because I don't want people to get that opinion about me. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy for somebody to get an opinion about somebody without actually even knowing them.
Yeah. Knowing backstory and stuff.
Right, yeah.
That's the mantra of the social media and stuff like that. You can clip things down to a way that, you know, doesn't represent fully what you believe, but that might be the one thing that shouts into the world, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's
That's deep, man. That's deep.
I think it's good to talk about, you know, where even in the simple things in life, we've really had it lucky, and I think that we've had, even as mundane as it may sound with what jobs we're not out here in, you know, mega stars or you know.
No, by no means.
But you know, we're you know, from humble beginnings of Blount County, you know, just you know, making our path through life. So it's I think that's a journey to talk about, and so. But maybe we can share it with that fly too.
That thing tried to come over.
Yeah, that keeps coming around.
Pterodactyl.
So at least we've got a third. Yeah, that's our first podcast.
That's our audience, man.
Yeah, you could say. Well, I was gonna say it was our first one to have on. He probably if he landed on the mic, he might have talked for a minute, you know.
Buzz, brother. Buzz.
But I don't know. We've covered the part of the careers. We've lightly touched on the childhood.
Yeah, and I guess religious.
A lot of the relationship.
Yeah, and we wasn't really even going to get on the religious part of it. You know, I mean, obviously, if you've heard the start of this podcast, up to now, well, obviously, you know, I'm Christian. He's a Christian. We're Christians. You know, raised in Southern Baptist. You know, might not always act like it, but you know, you can't run from the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Serious though, and. This isn't going to be a podcast where it's always be bringing that up and whatnot. But it is so hard to go on and talk about stuff sometimes without bringing up, you know, religious, the source of even just how you got there.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
It's so hard. Yeah. It's hard to be true yourself.
It's like what they say at the bottom of the bottle of science. You find the eye of God staring back at you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've never even heard that before.
When
But
you really think about it, no matter in what way you go in your endeavors, some people not necessarily, try to dive into the science of the world and try to figure out how things. My mind works like that. Yours may not necessarily, and you have a completely different interest than that.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing to see that with those different orientations in life, we still end up pointing back to the same root and stuff.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And so you can't really avoid that even if you wanted to. It's just crazy. So.
And I mean,
it's part of the story.
Yeah,
it is the story.
It is.
It's the greatest story ever told.
Yeah, it is. It is. But let's see, where was we? We veered off from mine and Logan's relationship as far as that goes. We veered off. You went on, on to Susan. I keep on getting there, and then we get to talk about something else. So we really got to
trying to bring it back together.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm
trying to go out and then back in.
Right. Yeah.
Wrap around this tree. All right.
I went. Yeah. I went this way, and he went this way.
Yeah.
So
you got college guy. You got job force guy.
Blue collar guy.
Yeah.
Job force.
White collar, blue collar.
Yeah.
And then.
But both sometimes have to wear a hard hat. So
that's right. Yeah.
So that PPE, brother. But yeah. So we go way back, but there's a lot of years of growing up that we never spent with each other, and we'd only see each other for 2 times a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, really, and then we'd catch up there, obviously. And there's a lot of people that do that with their family members, and but we we got going our own paths, and then.
I think as our life started to stabilize now.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
Yeah.
With my job now stabilized to you're in a job now that you feel like it's clicked.
Yeah. And
with things like that clicking.
And I don't know what brought us back together.
It brings it
back. To talking and having a relationship like we did. Do now,
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We might hit each other up somehow. I don't really know. It ain't really important, but
just how cousins are, you just get that random phone call out of them.
Yeah, man.
It turned into 3 or 4 hour conversations. We're like, we should just record this.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of
absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I got friends like that. Like I'll go months without talking to them, and then I just swing by the house and we'll just hang out, and just like when we quit hanging out 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? That's that might just be a me thing. I don't know. It don't take much for me to catch up with somebody.
It takes 2 to tango, so it takes 2 people to at least say like, you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that kind of tango.
Hey, we're talking about brothers.
Hey,
talking about brothers, man. We easy on the tango stuff.
We don't say buddy on the CB radio, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, apparently that's gay. Yeah, apparently that's gay.
Yeah, apparently.
So I will not be saying.
That's code.
Yeah, Morse code. Hey, buddy, you're a faggot. No, long story short, I was saying that on CB, and figured out that I said 10-4 good buddy to somebody, and I figured out that was trucker lingo for being gay, I guess.
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna hear me saying that ever again on the CB, at least.
So there you go. Well, now you said it on the podcast, so
now
the whole world's gonna say it. Yeah, see, you done messed up now. It's gonna get clipped, and then that's gonna be what they know us for, right there. You are very welcome, Owen, for bringing that up. But no.
Well, yeah, we're hanging out now. Well, I don't know. Probably clip that up.
Dude.
We're
probably.
Yeah, so we made our way back to.
I think we've realized that we've got a lot of stories to share that we've missed out on part of our, and we have like a deep-rooted childhood together and stuff that kind of acts as a backbone. But we've still got to fill out the flesh of what we've missed and stuff like that, and bring two totally different perspectives and experiences in these later few years back together. And I think that's what's joined us back together on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, it's a lot of crucial years that we didn't see each other as far as like, you know, a lot of just growing up years. If we would have stayed together, you know, as close as we was when we was a kid growing up through all those years, I feel like our mindsets would be a lot closer than what they are.
Right.
And so since that...
It lends itself to a good thing.
Yeah, because I don't think we could be doing this.
Yeah.
And because you really don't need two people that's, I don't know, I've never done a podcast before, but I would assume that you don't need two people that think exactly the same.
You don't want two monotone people.
Right, exactly.
You want to, you want to share a completely, a mixed experience to be able to bring to light something new. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what makes it interesting. I think that's what's going to make this podcast interesting. Yeah. There's just definitely still a lot to explore.
There's a lot.
Not just between even me and you, but the people that we know. And kind of going forward from there, just a lot of the things that we just missed, man. You know? Yeah. You never know.
Mm-hmm. These lights are making me sweat, I think.
Think so?
No, I wouldn't even mess with them. Let's see. What is the next thing we was going to cover?
Well, I was going to see kind of what we're at time-wise. It's already midnight. Hour and 6 minutes.
Well, I guess we can cut this from where we stopped talking, because I mean, this is obviously, we probably can cut this out. So do you want to like kind of go over like, well, this is like, you want to like kind of try to close it out?
Have some kind of a closing?
Some kind of a closing on this. And then I guess you'll have to, you know,
clip it.
Yeah, and, just from bam to bam. You know what I'm saying?
I really don't know.
Well,
we'll just cut to me playing the banjo and call it good.
But yeah, so we've hit an hour, and I knew you were gonna do that. And we hit an hour, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've covered a good bit of stuff, and some stuff was deep. I think a lot of the stuff, here we go again. You know, a lot of stuff we was gonna cover we didn't get to, but you know, maybe somebody can get something out of it. So,
you never know.
Heck, you never know. You just kind of just do whatever. You know, just kind of go with the flow. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. So
we're here to give it to you real and not.
Give it to you real, man. Cornbread is real, and this is
Cornbread Confessions.
That's right.
Amen, brother.